Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract love, while others struggle to keep someone interested, no matter how hard they try? You might think it's about looks, money, or even charm. But what if I told you it's none of those things? What if I told you there are 3 unspoken rules of attraction that almost no one talks about? And if you master them, you can make someone fall deeply in love with you, without pretending to be someone you're not. Here's the thing. I used to think love was just luck. I'd meet someone, hope they'd like me, and pray it would work out. But after years of failed relationships, studying psychology, and coaching hundreds of people, I realized something. Love isn't random. It's a science, and once you understand these 3 rules, you'll see why some people can't help but fall for you, while others just don't. So, if you're ready to stop leaving your love life to chance and start understanding what really makes someone crave you, keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to create a connection so strong, they'll wonder how they ever lived without you. Rule 1. The power of emotional presence. Let's start with the first rule, and this is the one most people get wrong. It's called emotional presence. Now you might be thinking, what does that even mean? Well, let me break it down for you. Imagine this. You're on a date. The person you're with is physically there, but their mind is somewhere else. They're checking their phone, glancing around the room, or just nodding along without really listening. How does that make you feel? Unimportant, right? Like you don't matter. Now, flip the script. Imagine being with someone who's fully there, not just physically, but emotionally. They're listening to every word you say, noticing the little things, and making you feel like you're the only person in the room. That's emotional presence. Here's the secret. Emotional presence isn't about what you say or do. It's about how you make the other person feel. When you're fully present, you're sending a powerful message. You matter to me. And that's irresistible. But here's where most people mess up. They think being present means asking a lot of questions or pretending to be interested. No, it's about genuinely caring. It's about focusing on them so completely that they feel seen, heard, and valued. And when you do that, something magical happens. They start to associate those feelings with you. You become the person who makes them feel alive, understood, and important. And guess what? That's the foundation of love. Now you might be wondering, how do I actually do this? Don't worry, I'll give you the exact steps. But first, let's talk about the second rule, because this one is just as important. Rule 2, the art of vulnerability. Okay, let's get real for a second. How many times have you tried to impress someone by showing only your best side? You know, the perfect job, the cool hobbies, the flawless Instagram feed. And how many times has that actually worked? If you're like most people, the answer is not often. And here's why. Perfection is boring. It's unrelatable. And most importantly, it doesn't create connection. The second rule of attraction is vulnerability. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, ugh, not another be vulnerable speech, hear me out. I'm not talking about oversharing or dumping your emotional baggage on someone. I'm talking about showing your humanity, your flaws, your quirks, your fears. Those are the things that make you real. And when you're real, you give the other person permission to be real too. Think about it. When someone shares something personal with you, something they're insecure about, or something they've struggled with, how do you feel? Closer to them, right? That's because vulnerability creates intimacy. It breaks down walls and builds trust. And trust is the glue that holds relationships together. But here's the catch. Vulnerability has to be authentic. You can't fake it. If you're sharing something just to get a reaction, people will sense it, so how do you do it right? Start small. Share something genuine but not too heavy. Maybe it's a funny story about a mistake you made or a fear you've overcome. The key is to be honest without being overwhelming. And when you do that, you'll notice something amazing. The other person will start opening up to you too. They'll feel safe with you, and that's when the real connection begins. Now, before we move on to the third rule, let me ask you this. Have you ever been with someone who made you feel like you were walking on eggshells? Like you had to be careful about what you said or did because they might judge you or pull away? Yeah, that's the opposite of what we're going for. And that brings us to the final rule. Rule 3. The magnetism of unshakable confidence. Here's the truth. Confidence is sexy, but not the kind of confidence that's loud or arrogant. I'm talking about quiet confidence, the kind that says, I know who I am, and I'm okay with it. That's the third rule of attraction. Unshakable confidence. Let me explain. When you're confident in yourself, you don't need validation from anyone else. You don't need someone to complete you or make you feel worthy. And that's incredibly attractive. Why? Because it shows that you're with them because you want to be, not because you need to be. And that's a game changer. But here's the thing. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being comfortable with your imperfections. It's about owning who you are, flaws and all, and not apologizing for it. And when you do that, you give the other person permission to do the same. You create a space where they can be themselves without fear of judgment. And that's where real love grows. Now I know what you're thinking. Easier said than done, right? Trust me, I get it. Confidence doesn't happen overnight. But here's the good news. It's a skill you can build. Start by focusing on your strengths. Remind yourself of what makes you unique. And most importantly, stop comparing yourself to others. Because here's the truth. No one else can be you. And that's your superpower. Conclusion and call to action. So, let's recap. The 3 unspoken rules of attraction are emotional presence, making the other person feel seen and valued; vulnerability, showing your humanity to create intimacy; unshakable confidence, owning who you are and creating a safe space for love to grow. If you can master these 3 rules, you'll not only attract love, you'll create a connection so deep, it will feel like magic. But here's the thing. Knowing these rules isn't enough. You have to apply them. So, the next time you're with someone, try it out. Be present. Be real. Be confident. And watch what happens. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because I've got a lot more to share with you, like how to keep the spark alive once you found love, or how to rebuild trust after a breakup. So stay tuned. And remember, love isn't about finding the right person. It's about being the right person. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the